we are streaming live here, and then let me start the record as well. We got someone coming in last minute here. Let me just get them too. And Nada is coming in right now. Okay, so we're all ready to go.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order, the April meeting of the Board of Trustees of Monroe Community College. Start off with a roll call attendance. Trustees.
Okay. Trustee Paula Barlow.
Present.
Trustees Barbara Lovenheim.
Present.
Trustee Danielle Lyman Torres.
Here.
Trustee Carla Palumbo.
Here.
Trustee Dale Rakoff.
Present.
Trustee Grace Tillinghast.
Here.
Trustee Connie Walker.
Here.
Chair Alan Williams.
Here. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the April meeting of the Board of Trustees of Monroe Community College. The meeting has been called to order and a quorum has been established. Before we get into the meat of the meeting in the agenda, I'd like to welcome and introduce two of our newest board members. Although they've been here for a while, this is their first in-person meeting. Trustee Connie Walker and Trustee Danielle Lyman Torres. Welcome to the board.
Thank you.
Like you, a few words, you like to say anything, or?
I would just like to say I'm pleased to serve the institution and the community in this way, and look forward to doing all I can to contribute to my alma mater.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Trustee Walker, anything?
Although not my own, I pledge the same, and I'm very happy to be.
Thank you. And with that, we will now move to adopt the consent agenda. Unless objections are raised, the following items are proposed to be adopted and approved by consent. Some of these items address issues which have been discussed by the board in the past and are routine operational matters which do not involve new policy decisions. Other consent items are derived from provisions in the existing prior approved labor contracts, capital construction programs, and other trustee initiatives. The consent agenda is presented for adoption as a single agenda item. Specific items may be removed by request of any board member for discussion as a part of the regular agenda. Remaining items should then be adopted as a single agenda. Board approval of the consent agenda is required. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of Monroe Community College adopt the consent agenda effective April 4th, 2022. Trustees, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second. Been moved and second. Would you do a roll call?
Yes. So all in favor, Trustee Paula Barlow.
Yay.
Trustee Barbara Lovenheim.
Aye.
Trustee Danielle Lyman Torres.
Aye.
Trustee Carla Palumbo.
Aye.
Trustee Dale Rakoff.
Aye.
Trustee Grace Tillinghast.
Aye.
Trustee Connie Walker.
Aye.
Chair Ellen Williams.
Aye. Hearing no opposition or abstentions, the motion is approved. Trustee Dale Rakoff will now give the Finance and Facilities Committee report. The board will consider these resolutions as a committee of the whole, voting on each in turn. Trustee Rakoff.
Thank you, Chair Williams, and welcome. Daryl, if you would share with us, I think we have results through the end of February. Look forward to your report.
Thank you, Trustee Rakoff, President Burt and Anna, trustees and colleagues. Next slide, please. So I'll be reporting on the 6 month ended February 22 compared to 21. And in the first slide, citing enrollment through spring census, we're at 6,322 FTEs. This reflects a decrease of about 756 or 10.7% year over year. On the tuition line, we show a decrease following that enrollment trend of 3.3 million from last year. That's 11.8% decline. We remember we didn't increase tuition rates this year, so enrollment drives that number. Total revenues are showing an increase of 2.4%, and I'll show you where that's coming from in a moment. But just to note that what I'm speaking about now, this includes HERF funds, the impact of HERF, and I'll unwind that for you a little later. Total expenses show a decrease of 3.2 million, and the combination of the revenues and expense changes are generating an increase in fund balance of 4.8 million. Next slide, please. So these are really the numerical picture of the narrative I just gave. At the top, however, I'll call your attention to student head count. These are estimated numbers based on the FTE. So February 22 at call it 23,300, down from 25,700. So a 9.3% reduction. And then on the FTE line, again, 6,322 versus 7,078, and you can see the other lines there, tuition and revenue expense. Next slide, please. So I'll say a little more about enrollment. There's the 6,322, as you recall from the last meeting, our fall final for 21, we were on budget. So our spring census is actually off budget by about 7%. Year over year, it's down 8.5%. So again, this is census. What we found in the fall was we were off at census, but our late starts, dual enrollment really made up the FTE gap. So we're hoping for that outcome as well for the spring. Right now, we're at 97% of the budget through spring census. And just to note, full-time aidable enrollment's down 13%, but you can see the part-time mix is up 24% in terms of FTEs year over year. Next slide, please. So the revenue totaled 66.6. This is up $1.6 million, and the real driver here is the state aid number. The variance is $2.7 million. This is really timing. In the prior year, there was a 20% cut that the state implemented that we carried through our numbers until May or June. And so that'll largely reverse. When we get all done with the year, we think we will be down $700,000 year over year when that unwinds. Federal appropriations are included in here, down $600,000 year over year. And your all other category, $2.5 million. What's really driving that is your chargebacks from other counties are up $1.5 million. We increased the rates by 16%, and enrollment offsets that a bit. And miscellaneous overhead from grants, there's $1 million in there year over year increase driven by HERF funds. Next slide, please. Expenses are down 3.2 million or 6.2%. Salaries, we have vacancies that you're familiar with, unfilled positions essentially. Adjunct and overload given enrollment declines down 400,000. And these are offset by lump sum payments under the FA contract of about $500,000. Benefits follow along with the salary decline, $1.2 million, positive variance, and then contractual expenses are up 100,000. But what's in that number is utilities are up $600,000 year over year. The rates are just the rates, and the fact that we came back face to face in the fall drives that number. Our supplies are up 100,000 again, given the face to face on campus this fall. Next slide. So this is just a pie chart of benefits, and if you look at the right-hand chart, there the upper blue is your active healthcare. Rates went up 18% in January, but we've not really seen the impact of that yet. Takes a while for all the plans to iron themselves out. We do expect to see those increases going forward. So the dollars are flat year over year, but this as a portion of the benefit pool, it's going up. Retiree health is similar. It's the orange square at the bottom, orange segment at the bottom. It's flat in terms of dollars year over year, but again, it's taking a greater portion of the percentage of the benefit pool. If we go, keep going clockwise, the gray is your pension. We're up about $100,000. Again, greater percentage of the pool. Your FICA costs are down because we have vacancies and less people. And then the quadrant at the top, the small blue segment at $1.4 million. This is really all other. It's down $1 million. That's really driven by HERF dollars that are coming in to offset benefit costs. Tuition waivers are down 100,000, retirement incentives a couple $100,000. So overall, benefits are down $1.2 million or 7.4% at this point. Next slide, please. Fund balance increase year over year. It generated 18.5. That's for the period, and that's 4.8 million higher than last year. So there's a lot of numbers in here, but what I want to do now is give you a sense of where we think we're going to be at the end of the year and make a few comments. If you start to the left, we have the budget in the first column after the descriptions. The estimate for the year, Mike Quinn, controller, puts together this estimate on a monthly basis going forward. So he's using February numbers. And then the fiscal year 21 actuals are in the next column. And then I just show you compared to prior year and then compared to budget. So if we look at tuition and fees, we will be down $5.7 million or 11%. And that's driven by enrollment. And then let's move over to the budget versus budget column. However, we think we might even exceed the tuition budget because again, that part-time mix, the per credit hour rate for part-timers is much higher than the full-time cohort. And so that's driving some additional numbers in there. And your fees end up flat, we believe, to budget. We're up because of tech fee, our lab fees are down, however, and then our SUNY Learning Network distance learning fees are up. So we think we'll be flat on that. Next section down shows a variety of other revenue items. HERF funding, 5.9 million is in the budget, and we'll see 4 of it here, and there's $1.9 million that I'll show you in a moment. That'll make up that remaining difference. Will be down from the prior year based on that. And then the $1.9 million versus budget again, I'll show you that in a moment. It's coming out of the expense side. Chargebacks will be off both budget to actual by about $300,000. And rates went up, but enrollment has driven it down a bit. And then the other line is your overhead, your other sponsored programs. And we think we'll be off about $600,000 versus the prior year, but we'll be close to budget, down maybe $100,000. So total revenues will be 19.5 below last year and only 2.1 off budget or 1.9%. Again, HERF funding is in these numbers. Next slide. Compensation costs are, 82, 83% of our total budget. So the first line on this schedule shows personal services, and we budgeted 60 million. We believe we'll end up at 56.3, and our prior year number was 57.8. So again, this is driven by vacancy. We'll be below last year by $1.5 million. And here's your vacancy number, 3.7 million. Off budget. So again, we always are budgeting higher, because we have positions that you need to budget, and there's that turnover that happens. Employee benefits, let me just call your attention. I start with active and then retiree health insurance and then pension and FICA. These are the high dollar drivers. If you go over to the versus prior year numbers and you start to go down the column, you'll see 700,000, then 400, then 100 between pension and healthcare. You've got $1.2 million that we will be above the prior year. We have an 18% increase in active health insurance in January, and we had about a 4% increase in retiree health in January. So this will all push forward, and we expect it to exceed the prior year by at least $1 million. If you compare it to budget and those same three lines, you're $600,000 over budget, but you're going to offset that by $700,000 down in the all other line, which is just a combination of things, paid time off and things like that, that will just be under budget. When we get all done, it'll be about $100,000 over budget. So while we've had capacity in the past in the budget for benefits, we are largely absorbing that, given what's happening in healthcare. So the subtotal number here is to give you total compensation before there's any impact to HERF funds. So 91.3 million is the budget. We'll be at 87.7. Last year we were at 88.1. So we'll be under the prior year by 400,000. But then we'll be under budget by 3.6 when we get done for the year without HERF. How does HERF come in here? We have smaller class sizes and we're able to book HERF funds to offset compensation costs for those instructors that are in the classroom. And so the salaries and benefits number is $1.9 million. So that's simply how we're accounting for it here. It totals to the budget when we get all done. And then when you take the math to the bottom, total compensation is offset by those HERF dollars. Next slide, please. The equipment line, I'll just move right to the prior year, and the budget numbers will be above by about $300,000. And we're targeting campus updates and also lab equipment support for our students. We are including that in the budget next year. We have some capacity this year, so we're going to get started now in this fiscal year. Your contractual expenses will be $1.9 million higher than the prior year. However, we'll still be under budget by $1.3 million. And that will give us some capacity going into next year, since we're holding the budget flat and there's certainly inflationary pressures. When we get all done, the fund balance impact, we expect to add 4.4 million, and we had budgeted to use about $100,000. So that gives you a sense of where we think we're going to be. And again, we adjust these every month. Next slide, please. So we always want to get back to net revenue and cost per FTE and look at the structural basis. And so at the top of this slide, we have the enrollment estimate of 7325 under the 21-22 estimate column. Revenue per FTE at 14,094 and cost per FTE at 14,303. So we have a structural deficit of $208,000. That's $1.5 million without HERF money. If you add HERF in there, you get back to that $4.4 million in total, or about $600 on an FTE basis. Next slide, please. So the good news is the HERF funds have been extended automatically to June 2023. We still have about 15 million in institutional funds that will be rolling in over that time. So we don't need to apply for it. It's already a given. We do like to stay on top of risk out in the marketplace and the Department of Labor. is looking at the wage threshold for overtime exempt employees. And this basically says that if you're an exempt employee, you have to be meeting a certain minimum salary. Department of Labor is looking to increase that minimum. And we think the impact to the college, if you assume, because President Obama looked at this back during his time, and he was looking at about a $47,000 minimum level. And if you assume that our risk is probably about $72,000 to the operating budget, if you were to move what do we have, 35, we have about 18 employees that you'd have to move up to that level. Again, we don't know how this is going to shake out. It's not too much of a concern for us, but some of the institutions who have a lot of food service workers and so on are challenged by this, and there's a lot of discussion. New York State Fire Inspection, we've received certificates of compliance for the two buildings and the 3 violations that we had, so we have no violations. And I'm hoping soon, finally, that we get an enacted state budget and we can put the numbers in and see where we go from there. Right now, it's looking positive, but again, they have to put it into law.
Any questions for Daryl?
I have just a couple. You talked about the 18% increase in the healthcare cost.
Yes.
So I know this, well, has there been any movement or discussions on that with either any of the other community colleges? I'm sure we're all in the same boat in terms of, but is there anything at all?
There has been some, and even recently I attended executive committee for the community college business officers last week. There's conversation about we really need to do something about it and something that would be system-wide. But that's a real challenge. You can imagine all the bargaining units and all the contracts across the state and how to bring that into sync. The state operated campuses, that's all administrated from the top, so they just can do it. But we're a community college and there's 30 around the state with various experience ratings. Yeah, it's a challenge.
Any other questions? Just to confirm, Daryl, the big takeaway that I get from, and I appreciate you laying out the information that you have, for the end of the year, we're anticipated to be, by virtue of her funds utilized, about $5.9 to $6 million less revenue than expense through the end of the year, if we remove her funds being available.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
With that, let me share the first resolution. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of Monroe Community College accepts the interim financial reports as of February 28th, 2022, found in attachment 1. Trustees may have a motion to approve the financial report as detailed in attachment 1.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Second, thank you. Any discussion or questions? With that, I'll move to a roll call. All in favor, Trustee Paula Barlow.
Yay.
Sabrina Lamar.
She's absent.
Okay. Barbara Lobenheim.
Aye.
Danielle Lyman Torres.
Aye.
Carla Palumbo.
Aye.
Dale Rakoff. Aye. Grace Tillinghast.
Aye.
Connie Walker.
Aye.
Alan Williams.
Aye.
Any opposed? The aforementioned resolution carries. We'll move to the second, which is related to attachment 2. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of Monroe Community College authorizes the purchase of items over $20,000 as listed for the month of February 2022, found in attachment 2. Trustees may have a motion to approve the purchases over $20,000 as detailed in attachment 2.
So moved.
And second,
Second.
Thank you.
Second, Carla.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions?
No, just a comment. The first time there is only one item.
February is a short month. Wait until April. I appreciate the fiscal discipline. So with that, roll call for all in favor. Trustees Paula Barlow.
Aye.
Barbara Lovenheim,
Aye.
Danielle Lyman Torres,
Aye.
Carla Palumbo,
Aye.
Dale Rakoff, aye. Grace Tillinghast,
Aye.
Connie Walker,
Aye.
and Alan Williams.
Aye.
Any opposed? That resolution carries. Finally, the third resolution is accounts for a transfer of funds or accounting adjustment. I didn't know, Daryl, if you wanted to just briefly touch on this as well.
So this is simply moving money from one budget category to another budget category. We bring for your consideration any change of $20,000 or more, either in the category, say contractual expenses or personal services equipment, or in functions. For example, instruction, maintenance and operation of plant, those types of things. So these dollars are already in the budget, and you approved the total budget for the college. This is simply moving money around, and we bring it to you for your approval.
Thank you. Resolution is as follows. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of Monroe Community College authorizes the following transfer of funds from academic support contractual expenses in the amount of $250,000 and from student services contractual expenses $28,778 to academic support personal services $150,000, to student services equipment services $28,778, and general institutional contractual expenses $100,000. And you can note the footnotes for the line items. With that, trustees may have a motion to approve the transfer of funds as noted.
So moved.
And second,
Second.
any discussion or questions?
Just a comment. We didn't have any soccer dugouts or benches or whatever before. Just a
So
simple question.
these are covers for the benches. And you may recall, we have an agreement now with the Rochester Rhinos to play soccer on our campus. And so one of the things Major League Soccer requires are these bench covers.
Oh, I
So
see.
we're moving some money over to pick those up.
I was wondering why.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? With that, I'll move to roll call vote. All in favor, trustee Paula Barlow,
Aye.
Barbara Lovenheim,
Aye.
Danielle Lyman Torres,
Aye.
Carla Palumbo, Carla Palumbo.
Aye.
Thank you. Dale Rakoff, aye. Grace Tillinghast,
Aye.
Connie Walker,
Aye.
and Alan Williams.
Aye.
Any opposed? The resolution carries. And then if you would please refer to the informational items that you can find in attachments 3, 4, and 5. Any items in particular, Daryl, that you'd like to provide additional information on?
Oh, I'm happy to answer questions.
Any questions for Daryl? All right, this concludes the Finance and Facilities Committee report.
Thank you, trustee Rakoff. Trustee Carla Palumbo will now give the Personnel and Programs Committee report. The board will consider these resolutions as a committee of the whole, voting on each in turn.
Thank you, Chair Williams. I'm going to apologize in advance because I apparently have run out of data and it keeps going in and out. So if you lose me, I'll be right back. So let me start with the first item, Resolved that the Board of Trustees of Monroe Community College approves the appointment of department chairs for the academic year 2022-23 is indicated, each to receive an annual stipend in accordance with provision. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Academic Services and Economic Development and Innovative Workforce Services Department Chairs 2022-2023. The Department of Anthropology, History, Political Science, and Sociology, Nida Paris Kane. Applied Technologies, Kevin French. Biology, James Murphy. Business Administration, Todd Carroll. Chemistry, Geosciences, Jessica Barone. Education and Human Services, Eileen Radigan. Engineering, Sciences, and Physics, Christopher Kumar. Engineering Technologies, William Hunt. English Philosophy, Catherine Gansey Smith. ESOL Transitional Studies, Matthew Fox. Health and Physical Education, Doug Hennenberg. Health Professions, Marcia Bauer. Hospitality, Rebecca Griffin. Information and Computer Technologies, Jeffrey Dunker. Law and Criminal Justice, Adrian Smalls. Mathematics, Mark Ernstenhausen. Nursing, Colleen Caruana. Psychology, Rebecca Horwitz. Visual and Performing Arts, Jason Slack. World Languages and Cultures, Christina Rowley. Trustees may I have the motion to approve the appointments of department chairs as noted.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved in second. And is there any discussion or questions? All in favor, I will call a roll call. Trustee Paula Barlow.
Aye.
Trustee Barbara Lovenheim.
Aye.
Trustee Danielle Lyman Torres.
Aye.
Carla Palumbo, I say aye. Trustee Dale Rakoff.
Aye.
Trustee Grace Tillingast.
Aye.
Trustee Connie Walker.
Aye.
Chair Alan Williams.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion is approved. The next is resolved that the Board of Trustees of Monroe Community College approves the early retirement incentive for the following individuals in accordance with Article 50 of the contractual agreement between Monroe Community College and the Faculty Association. Janet Wasdorp, Education and Human Services, the date of retirement, June 30th, 2022. Rosanna Ewell, Community Relations, date of retirement, August 4th, 2022. Trustees may I have a motion to approve the early retirement incentive for the individuals noted.
So moved.
Is there a second? Moved in second. Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, all in favor, I will call a roll call. Trustees Paula Barlow.
Aye.
Barbara Lovenheim.
Aye.
Danielle Lyman Torres.
Aye.
Carla Palumbo, aye. Dale Rykoff.
Aye.
Grace Tillingast.
Aye.
Connie Walker.
Aye.
Chair Alan Williams.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of Monroe Community College adjust the 2022-2023 base annual salaries in accordance with Article 47 of the current contractual agreement with the Faculty Association. Adjusted salaries effective September 1st, 2022 for the Okay, I'm back, sorry. Tokia Graham, English, this is 2022-2023 faculty workload buy down. Tokia Graham, English Philosophy 3 FCH. Karen Morris, Business Administration 6 FCH. Emily Putnam, Mathematics 6 FCH. Adrian Smalls, Law and Criminal Justice, 3 FCH. Janet Zink, Hospitality, 0.5 FCH. Trustees may have a motion to approve the faculty workload buy down for the individuals noted.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, I'll call a roll call vote. All in favor, please say aye. Trustees Paula Barlow,
Aye.
Barbara Lovenheim,
Aye.
Danielle Lyman Torres,
Aye.
Carla Palumbo, aye. Dale Rykoff,
Aye.
Grace Tillingast,
Aye.
Connie Walker,
Aye.
and Chair Alan Williams.
Aye.
Is there any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of Monroe Community College approves the settlement agreement between Monroe Community College and the CSEA Local 1000 AFSCME AFL-CIO Unit 7402, Local 282 CSEA, as agreed to on March 2nd, 2022, and ratified by the CSEA membership on March 17th, 2022. Trustees may have a motion to approve the CSEA settlement agreement.
So moved.
Is there a second? Moved
Second.
and seconded. Is any questions or discussion?
Carla, if I
Hearing
could just,
none, please go ahead.
just to extend appreciation from the leadership of the college, the members and leaders of the union for engaging on this. We applaud your efforts.
Here, here. Okay, I'm all in favor. Will please say aye. I'll call the roll call for trustees Paula Barlow,
Aye.
Barbara Lovenheim,
Aye.
Danielle Lyman Torres,
Aye.
Carla Palumbo, aye. Dale Rykoff,
Aye.
Grace Tillingast,
Aye.
Connie Walker,
Aye.
and Chair Alan Williams.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Okay, resolved that the Board of Trustees of Monroe Community College accepts an amendment to the summer 2022 academic calendar to change the dates for the Juneteenth holiday to be observed on Monday, June 22nd, 2022, as found in attachment 6. Trustees may have a motion to approve the amendment to the summer 2022 academic calendar.
So moved.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or questions?
There's an error on the date, I believe.
What do you mean?
It says Monday, the 22nd. It should be Monday, the 20th.
I believe it's correct under tab 6.
Okay,
It's no, you're correct. I think on page 6 of the board packet, there is a typographic error. And but the calendar is actually referenced in section 6 of the packet, and that is correct.
So it's June 20th, Monday, June 20th
Yes.
is the motion. So can we correct, may I have corrections? So I would like, I don't know, can we correct this motion to reflect that the date of the Juneteenth holiday to be observed is Monday, June 20th, 2022, as correct in attachment 6?
So moved.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Okay, so as corrected, all in favor, please say aye. Trustees Paula Barlow,
Aye.
Barbara Lovenheim,
Aye.
Danielle Lyman Torres,
Aye.
Carla Palumbo, aye. Dale Rykoff,
Aye.
Grace Tillingast,
Aye.
Connie Walker,
Aye.
and Chair Alan Williams.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Any opposed? So that motion carries. Are there any other questions to come before the Personnel and Programs Committee? Hearing none, this concludes the Personnel and Programs Committee report. And thank you for bearing with my spotty technology.
Thank you, Trustee Palumbo. And I would like to point out the board member for trustees, if you haven't done so, or if you'd like to, there is a copy, a summary of the settlement agreement between the administration and the CSEA in your board packets. I think they're also in
In the folder.
the folder.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
thank you.
And again, I extend congratulations and appreciation both to the administration and to the CSA leadership for reaching an agreement. Thank you. Whereas Monroe Community College has provided high-quality higher education opportunities to more than 500,000 students since it's opened its doors in 1962 as a unit of the State University of New York, and whereas under the leadership of MCC President Dr. Deanna R. Burtnana, Monroe Community College continues to evolve to meet the ever-changing needs of students hailing from Greater Rochester, Monroe County, the Finger Lakes region and beyond, while living its vision as a champion of equity, opportunity, innovation, and excellence. And whereas Monroe Community College is accredited by the Middle States Commission on Higher Education, an association that defines, maintains, and promotes educational excellence across institutions with diverse missions, student populations, and resources. And whereas Monroe Community College students, faculty, staff, and administrators inspire the way forward as recognized leaders within the SUNY system, as members of the League for Innovation in the Community College Board of Directors, and as dedicated and engaged community partners. And whereas Monroe Community College efforts to provide rewarding academic, student life, and leadership experiences across 5 sites, including its virtual campus, is complemented by the exceptional work of the MCC Association and the MCC Foundation in offering meaningful and valued auxiliary services and opportunities to support student success through private philanthropy. And whereas Monroe Community College has made a positive impact on economic and workforce development in the local community for 60 years through various partnerships with business and industry, academia, community organizations, and government. Whereas Monroe Community College is committed to shared governance, high ethical standards, inclusion, accountability, and transparency as it prepares for its next 6 years of service to our community and stakeholders. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the Monroe Community College Board of Trustees, recognize April 2022 as Monroe Community College Month and join the nation's annual celebration of the importance of community college to the success and prosperity of our nation and our world. Trustees, may I have a motion to approve the resolution recognizing Community College Month?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Get a roll call vote
Do you want to have any discussion?
or any discussion? I'm sorry.
Yes, I'd just like to say something quickly, and that is that the ACCT has looked at and established Community College Month, which is April. I was thinking back to Chaucer's Canterbury Tales that said, April is the cruelest month, but I guess ACT has decided that it's Community College Month, so we're moving that along. and which is really quite wonderful. And so we wanted to make sure that MCC is part of this particular celebration, making sure that the community knows about what we're doing and how we're going forward. So I thank you all for being part of this. And it's a great month to be thinking about all of the work we're all doing together.
All in favor, trustee Polly Barlow,
Aye.
Barbara Lovenheim,
Aye.
Danielle Lyman Torres,
Aye.
Carla Palumbo. Carla Palumbo. Gail Raycott,
Aye.
Grace Tillinghast,
Aye.
Connie Walker,
Aye.
Alan Williams,
Aye. Hearing no opposition or abstentions, the motion is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
Unless there is further business to discuss, this concludes the business portion of the meeting. We will now go into the informational portion of the Board of Trustees meeting. I would now like to ask Christy Woods to provide us a SUNY update.
Good afternoon, everyone. I did not know it was Community College Month. So tomorrow, that's my email going out to all the campuses. I didn't know that. It's very
Thank you for saying that. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, no, I hadn't heard that. That's why I put a big note on it. First slide, please. No, I can't tell you about enrollment. Sorry. Okay, so at the SUNY system level, we've got several key searches going on. And the one most prominent that you've probably heard about is for the chancellor. And we've hired the search firm Isaacson Miller, and they did, and I should have corrected the way I wrote that. The last two searches for chancellors, as you know, we did not have one for the last chancellor. But Isaacson Miller was involved with both the Chancellor Zimfer and Chancellor Johnson search. We're trying something a little bit different here. So you may recall with the Chancellor Johnson search, we had a lot of people on the search committee that were more in name, we'll say. For example, Al Roker was on the search committee. He never showed up. So what was done this time was to create 4 subcommittees. And these 4 subcommittees met separately with the search firm to discuss what we feel is important for our next chancellor. And I'm on the campus constituency subcommittee, and I know I can only remember the 2 of the other ones. One of them is students and alumni, and another one are our industry partners. We've met with Isaacson Miller, and from what I understand, everything will be sent out later this week, and the position will be posted later this week. Also, the Faculty Council of Community Colleges Executive Committee did meet with the search firm, and we discussed the importance of having a chancellor who knows something about community colleges, we'll say. Whether it would be wonderful if it is a person who has either taught or worked at a community college, but having some experience with a community college would be very helpful for all of us. Now, the plan is to have a new chancellor in place by this summer. That's a very aggressive timeline. I don't think it's going to happen, but I believe right now, so Deborah Stanley, you may know, is the interim chancellor, and she retired after 27 years as president at Oswego. Which, by the way, she has been amazing because she knows and understands campus life, plus she knows and understands SUNY, and she worked for a while teaching at Onondaga Community College. So she's been wonderful. She already has a house that she and her husband bought in Florida, so she would like to be out here, I think, before the snow flies. So hopefully we will have a chancellor by then. We also have a provost search that was suspended. We did start the first line of interviews before Chancellor Malatras left, and we decided to suspend that search until we have a permanent chancellor in place so that the chancellor can weigh in on the provost position. We have a few interims right now. The interim CDO, the Chief Diversity Officer, is Valerie Dent, and the Chief Financial Officer, which is Bob Magna, is an interim. As of the last I heard, we have not posted those positions as of yet, but those are 2 key positions that we're hoping to get in in fairly soon, fairly quickly. Next slide, please. So community college presidential searches, and there are the ones that are going on right now. Onondaga and Tompkins Cortland, they have a finalist right now, and they will be coming to the board at our May meeting. So we should be able to vote on those two people at our May board meeting. Nassau and Ulster are just beginning their searches, and Erie and Clinton, we just put new presidents in place. Clinton just at our very last board meeting in March, and Erie, I believe, was January committee meeting. Next, thank you. So the new learning management system, and I did talk about this before, and I'm sure you've heard about this from other people. It's Desire to Learn, and it's Brightspace. The implementation, Monroe Community College, you probably heard is in cohort 1, that's in full swing. And then there's also cohort 2 and 3 and 4, and those are planned for in the future. Something that I really want everyone to understand is that system is coming up with a global ID, and the global ID is something that's very important. It's going to make, and I'll talk about this in a minute, but what the global ID is a SUNY faculty member and student, whether you are a faculty member at 2 campuses or 3 campuses, or a faculty member at 1 and a student at another, you'll have one SUNY ID. And it'll be seamless to every one of us, but we'll have one login to this Brightspace. And what the advantage, I think, is going to be for transfer for students, because they will have one SUNY ID, and they'll be able to transfer between campuses with the same Brightspace. Unfortunately, it's not the student information system, but they will be able to go back and forth between campuses, especially once we start doing a lot more collaboration between campuses, where students may take 1 or 2 classes at one campus and a few at another campus. Oh, also, I wanted to put out there that, and I'll get to this in a second, for this Brightspace, that SUNY is working on providing training, and it's for faculty, staff, and students, this Brightspace training, which they are coming up with the training, and each campus can use strictly the SUNY training. We can create our own training, however we want to do that. And there will also be templates for use, so that we aren't walking into it completely blind, that they'll give us a template that will be fully modifiable to the faculty member. So the general education implementation is going strong. It's on its way, and we had our plenary, our Faculty Council of Community Colleges plenary that just ended yesterday. And we talked with Deb Meckel from System Administration, and we had a really great discussion about how to do this, how to do that. And many questions came up, and actually I talked to a few people here, and it's something that if at MCC, we'd like to do a Zoom session with Deb and ask some questions. She's more than willing to do anything like that. But one of the important things that came out of this, and it's coming out of one of our committees, the Academic Affairs Committee, they're going to be working with the University Faculty Senate and with the SUNY Committee to develop a rubric on the DEISJ, which is Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Social Justice category. So that's a new category, and we are working to get some training up for faculty members who want to teach using the DEISJ for their courses to fit into that category. But we'd like to develop a rubric, because I think that would be helpful not only in developing courses, but for the approval process. And as you may recall, I know it's been quite a while since I was here talking about this, but SUNY will no longer be approving the general education courses or programs. We will have to do that ourselves. And this is one of the ways that will help us decide, because this is a brand new category. We've never had it, but it'll be a way for us to help determine if a course does meet that category. Next slide, please. So I'm just going to quickly talk about the state of the state. You probably have already heard this or seen it, but all of these five bullets at the top were the main focus that the governor talked about. And what's happening now at the system level is that committees are being created, they're being formed, and a plan for how we're going to meet these goals has to be submitted to the governor's office by the end of the year. At this point, faculty have not been included, but when I talked to the chancellor, she said, yep, as soon as we get the main points of this, we will start including faculty members and campus constituents to these different groups. So next slide, please. And this one I like to show people just as a reminder when people ask, well, how are we going to do this? Well, you know, you've heard about the withholding transcripts. We won't be doing that anymore. But micro-credentials, this was a hot topic at our plenary this week. There's a need for more micro-credentials and a desire for more micro-credentials. And then you can see a little bit further down, offering TAP for micro-credentials is also a possibility for increasing enrollment, as well as that part-time TAP and TAP for incarcerated students. Also an increase for the income cap for TAP was also on the agenda, more high demand workforce training. And we do have a child care center, but many of our campuses do not. And that's both the state operated and the community colleges. So those will be added or upgraded. Several of our campuses have dilapidated, or we have several campuses where their child care centers have been moved off campus. And that's not helpful for a lot of our students. So moving them back on campus. And the recruitment in-state, out-of-state, we're trying to go back to recruiting people internationally and out of state. And there will be system level marketing, which I'll tell you kind of concerns me a little, because a lot of times when it's system level marketing, it's the university centers that get the marketing. But that's one of them that I'll have to keep on to make sure that the community colleges come out with some marketing. So at our plenary, and that was the last slide, but I just wanted to tell you, we approved 3 resolutions. The first was to update the presidential search guidelines for community colleges. It has not been updated since 2003. And it still says, and you're going to laugh at this, that we will spend $10,000 on a search firm, which I was looking up there. Yeah, you had 100,000 for a position. This was, they said 10,000. So we're going to work on updating that. It's a resolution to the board to form a committee. Also, when Chancellor Malatras was here, we had some money for the mental health for students, faculty, staff, administrators, and we haven't heard about it. So we're asking for transparency. How was that used? We don't know how that was used. And the third one was, there is a bill right now, and I believe it's both the Assembly and the Senate, asking for student hunger initiatives. There are initiatives such as Swipe It Forward, which I don't know if you've heard about that. That's where if a student has extra money on their card, they can swipe it forward and allow other students to use that money. So we are asking for support from, and actually we're looking towards the SUNY board to advocate for that bill. But other than that, we are hopeful for the budget. It looks good so far, as Daryl said. So we're keeping our fingers crossed, and we thought we were going to have it by Friday, and of course we didn't. So I guess that was the April Fool's joke, right? Any questions?
I have one. Chrissy, who chairs the committee for the search committee for the new chancellor?
It's actually chaired by Merrill Tisch, and who's the chair of the board. And I believe Cesar Perales, who is the vice chair of the board. There will be they call it the executive search committee, which once everything comes together, that executive search committee, which I'm on, will review all of the resumes and applications and make a determination of who to start to interview, and then we'll begin interviewing. And once we narrow it down, then the full board will interview the probably 3 or 4 people.
Christy, I just want to thank you for all the work you've been doing. It's a mammoth job. And you've had several years of doing this on various levels, various roles, and it's really wonderful. You've gotten MCC's name out there, which we appreciate. And it's been very, very good. So congratulations and nicely done.
Thank you. And I've learned so much about state politics, about SUNY. It's been a real learning
education.
It's been an education. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Now I'd like to ask President Burt Nana to give her report.
Thank you, Chair Williams. And Christy, we do thank you for all your advocacy for all of us and across all of the SUNY community colleges. But we do take a little personal pride in your representation of Monroe. So great job and thank you so very much. And again, welcome to our newest trustees. We're so grateful to have your service to continue the excellence of this board. So thank you, Trustee Lyman Torres and Trustee Walker. We're so grateful to have you. I too want to join the board in commending Tom Polizzi, CSEA Union President, and Kristen Lowe, Director of Human Resources and Employee Engagement, and each of the members of the CSEA negotiation teams on both sides, who throughout the CSEA contract negotiations demonstrated an unwavering commitment to remaining anchored to MCC's institutional values and shared priorities for its employees, balanced with a healthy dose of reality to ensure the long-term financial stability of the college. Among those priorities, the CSEA's decision to ratify its contract with the college is an acknowledgement of the commitment on the part of college administration to ensure all MCC employees earn a minimum of $15 per hour, as we concurrently prioritize strategies to ensure MCC students also earn a living wage. MCC aligns with the Rochester Monroe Anti-Poverty Initiative, or MAPI, in leveling up its employees' earnings as we lift persons out of poverty across Monroe County. I am grateful that the CSEA contract reflects this shared commitment for our very valued employees. And in the context of our strategic planning for the new MCC 2022-27 strategic plan, it is on schedule to be presented to the board at its June meeting. The plan will be presented to the board by the president and the co-chairs of the MCC employee-led strategic planning leadership team. We look forward to receiving feedback from the board, which is anticipated to include measurable indicators of improvement, which prioritize the success of MCC students over the next 5 years. The college eagerly anticipates word of the board's approval of the plan when it reconvenes in August. An update on college searches for officers. Our searches for college officers are concluding this month with finalists on campus visits for a few of our positions: the Vice President of Administrative Services and Chief Financial Officer, Chief of Staff, Assistant to the President for Governmental Relations, and Vice President of Economic Workforce Development and Career and Technical Education. The onboarding of these permanent college officers to fill these vacancies is anticipated between May and June. In the meantime, all of these areas are staffed with highly competent, dedicated, and highly regarded leadership who have been faithfully serving our institution and for whom we are all very grateful. The college has been in very good hands through these transitions in leadership, and I take this opportunity to publicly acknowledge their leadership in serving in these interim and acting capacities. In the context of governmental relations, since the March meeting of the board, the college has been actively engaged in budget advocacy and planning with the New York State and Monroe County. As you heard last month from interim CFO Daryl Jacob Moore, our budget advocacy prioritizes an ask from the state for restoration of the funding floor at pre-pandemic levels to support college operations, a loosening of the restrictions which currently preclude part-time students from qualifying for state tuition assistance program, TAP, and workforce development funding for non-credit students. Recently, I also met directly with the members of the Assembly and Senate in Albany to reinforce the importance of these budget priorities. The college was honored to host recent visits here at our campus, meetings in March with City of Rochester Mayor Malik Evans and Alejandra Castillo, U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Economic Development, along with Representative Joe Morelli and other special guests throughout the Rochester community. Special thanks today and always to MCC staff and also to Andres Pasmino, MCC's government relations consultants, who were all very instrumental in ensuring these gatherings yielded high impact for our college and community. And last but not least, you may have heard or read about another recent event hosted at the college, which received some media attention coverage, a volleyball game between the Afghan Eagles and the US veterans to build camaraderie and community among new Rochesterians. The Afghan Eagles are a group of translators and interpreters who provided their critical skills to US troops in Afghanistan. Many of those translators now live here with us as members of our community in Rochester, and we were happy to host them for such a joyous occasion. That concludes my report, unless there are questions or comments.
Hearing none. Thank you, Dr. Bertnana. And the board is certainly looking forward to the presentation or receiving the strategic plan in lieu of the, not in lieu of, but in preparation for the vote in August. Thank you very much. And prior to this board meeting, we had a budget workshop given by the Dr. Bertnana and her cabinet to the trustees, and it was very, very informative. And I just gotten some preliminary feedbacks from fellow trustees, and it was very much appreciated. I want to say thank you both to you and to the cabinet for putting together the presentation. You know, we thought we were going to have enough time to ask questions, but we did. But it was very thorough. And as I said, at the end of the workshop, that prepare yourself for a lot of questions that will be forthcoming. So, but thank you very much.
Our pleasure.
And with that, I would like to ask the cabinet members to give their report. The first of whom is Dr. Calvin Gant.
Good evening, everyone. I always remember that I follow Dr. Bertnana, so I got to step up my vocal skills and be prepared to deliver the message the way it's supposed to be delivered. So thank you, Dr. Bertnana, to remind me of what I need to do. So I just wanted to share with you a couple of things that you already have the report. The first being, if you were able to join us, if not, there will be a recording that I will share with you, but you may remember that we've held an essential discussions conference over the years. And one of the things that we've done is we've moved that to a regional conversation. So this year we held it in collaboration with Nazareth College and the YWCA. And our keynote was Delina Harper. She wrote a book called God's Teardrop. It was a phenomenal experience. And again, once that video is available, I will share that with you all. She's an MCC graduate. At the time when she was a student here, unfortunately, she was into prostitution and drug addicted, but she wound up graduating from MCC with honors and went on to Nazareth and also graduated from Nazareth with honors. And now she's a social worker working with folks in addiction. So again, I just hope when that video is available, you will take some time to look at that. The other thing is that we've been spending a lot of time making sure that we create a welcoming environment for our students, faculty, and staff that are either from or have family in the Ukraine. So we had a speak opportunity, a question and answer session in our Prism Multicultural Center. So we allow for an opportunity to have real dialogue about the conflict that's going on in the Ukraine. And again, if you aren't familiar with what's going on, which I can't imagine because it's all over the news, we were also expecting in Monroe County maybe to get another 100,000 potentially Ukrainian refugees to come to our area. So we want to make sure that we keep it open and available and let everyone in the community know that MCC is here. MCC is available to partner and do what we can to welcome those individuals to our community. So that is my report. Thank you.
Any questions, comments? Okay. Darrell Jackmore.
Yes, thank you. So for administrative services, you have the report. Just like to highlight under the personnel section, the facilities and public safety employees participated in a AAA defensive drivers education course. Secondly, that the facility supervisors engage in a managing difficult conversations training. And this training was provided by our very own workforce development organization. And not on here, but I'll just highlight our United Educators insurance carrier for liability insurance each year offers a risk mitigation program that we've been engaging in. We can receive a 6% credit against our premium. And so this year, our environmental health and safety department will be conducting training on preventing slips, falls, trips, and that kind of thing around campus. So all of these personnel matters are really employee enrichment and risk mitigation. So for your highlights.
Thank you. Dr. Kimberly Kinsey Mabry.
Good evening. Thank you, Chair Williams. Good evening, trustees, Dr. Bertnana and colleagues. In my update today, I will highlight both academic and student services. Just one point from each of those areas. Dr. Rollo Fisher, Associate Professor of Music in the Visual and Performing Arts Department, or VAPA as we refer to it, is planning a trip with 10 of our MCC students to New York City to perform at the world-renowned Carnegie Hall this June. This will be the 9th year that MCC students have been invited to perform at Carnegie Hall in the Masterworks series. The Masterworks series invites qualified ensembles to collaborate on a major work with a renowned guest conductor, the all-professional New York City Chamber Orchestra, and esteemed soloists. This event provides our students a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to perform and to compete at such a globally recognized venue, as well as build their skills, develop their confidence, and enhance their transfer and career resumes. I know you join me in wishing them well in June. I would also just like to quickly highlight and share congratulations to the testing services team who recently earned National College Testing Association, or NCTA, Test Center recertification, demonstrating MCC's commitment to the professional standards and guidelines of testing. While there are 2,300 members representing over 600 post-secondary institutions in more than 60 corporations and certification centers in the US and around the world, there are, however, only 303 schools that have received recognition as a certified testing center. 3 are located in New York State. Onondaga College is one, Binghamton is one, and MCC is the other. And so this certification is incredibly important to us. It shows that we uphold and meet the established standard and guidelines of required testing centers and our testing center personnel. So again, I know you congratulate me in wishing our testing services many thanks for the work that they do. This concludes my updates for academic and student services, unless there's questions.
No, just want to, well, again, I'd like to extend our congratulations both to Dr. Fisher, to the testing team, as well as to the swimming and diving team. Their accomplishments.
Yes, they had a wonderful season this year. And our coach, who was also recognized as well, Dale Pierce, at the last meeting.
Christian Science Kins, please.
Good evening, everybody. It's great to see everyone today. I'm just going to bring one point to everybody's attention with regards to the Finger Lakes Youth Apprenticeship Program. That's a program where we partner with the Rochester the Rochester Technical and Manufacturing Association here in Rochester, RTMA, who's been a wonderful partner to the college for many years. This program connects students with advanced manufacturers through signing day events, which I had the privilege to attend one several weeks ago, and they have it set up sort of like an NFL draft day. So I told them they just needed the music. So it's a really exciting event. The students show up with their parents, and they get called up and they shake hands with employers who are assigning them to work in their organizations, and they're provided with classroom and on-the-job training. They do job shadows, they get paid co-ops, and MCC provides dual enrollment programming to these students at no cost to them. So the program is about 3 years old, and we're already up to 265 students. So it's grown pretty significantly. That concludes my report.
One question for you you mentioned your report about the PTech program with the city school district. Okay, you said about, well, in your report, there's a relaunch. I guess the program sort of went into a hiatus or what?
Yes, well, we're just sort of reimagining. We had a wonderful meeting, myself and Dr. Bert Nana, and some wonderful colleagues from the Rochester City School District, just to talk about things we've learned from our current program, and things we'd like to see happening in the future. So you'll be hearing a lot more about that moving forward. We're still tossing around some ideas, but I think it's an exciting time, and I know the superintendent was very interested in sort of re-envisioning and partnering even more strongly with our college.
Because for the students there, was it sort of a citywide draw, or was it primarily from Edison Tech?
It was a citywide draw. I think that the PTech students could select from any part of the Rochester City School District. And I'm certain that any program that we would come up with would be inclusive of any Rochester City student that would want to participate. Much of our conversation was about making it more inclusive and broadening opportunities for students, potentially more programming offers. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Gretchen Wood.
Thank you very much. I'm going to slip in something that was officially announced on April 1st, further challenging Chaucer's position, because this is some nice news. At our last meeting, I shared the news that Dr. Bert Nana was being recognized as one of the Rochester Business Journal's Power 100. Now she is one of the Women of Excellence. So we will look forward to celebrating her on May 24th. This is an honor that identifies high-achieving women for their tremendous career accomplishments. The women are selected based on their professional experience, community involvement, leadership, and sustained commitment to mentoring. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I also wanted to point out you're very familiar with the good work of our outstanding institutional research department and Director William Dixon, who is still here. He continues to work with the Hope Center for College, Community, and Justice, which is an organization focused on redefining what it means to be a student-ready college with a national movement centering on students' basic needs. Increasingly, this is a part of our conversation that we know how vital it is that students have access to food and housing, the things they're very, very obvious. But William and his department help us to really be able to focus our resources by tracking the outcomes of where we're putting those resources. So we're able to better focus and make data-informed decisions going forward. So I wanted to recognize that work. I am also going to be giving the foundation report as Chair Van Dusen is not able to be here this evening. So I wonder if we can have the PowerPoint. All right, so some more good news. I'm very pleased to share the exciting news that Dixon Schwabel and Company and the MCC Foundation won several Addy Awards, which is the Rochester Advertising Federation. These are judged by professionals in advertising outside the Rochester area. They bring in a team from Philadelphia or Boston. So it's really an outside look looking at the creative that's being generated in our community. So the Gold Star Gala presented by M&T Bank won 3 golds, including the judges' special recognition. So we understand that this entry was talked about more than any of the best of winners by the judges. So we're really proud of the work of Dixon Schwabel and grateful for the opportunity to work with them and their generosity. You should have received, or you will shortly be receiving, this year's gala invitation. So I think in a year from now, we can probably put on the agenda that I'll be sharing that this is another award winner because it's outstanding. So next slide, please. I'll just remind you that at the end of this month, April 30th, is the Gold Star Gala presented by M&T Bank. Alchemy. Our Star Power Leadership Committee is planning their annual Mother's Day appeal. Star Power is our scholarship that's for single parents who are head of household. At this point, it has all gone to moms. We've had 12 this year that have our Star Power Scholarship. So this is an opportunity for people to make a contribution in honor of a special mother in their life. So you'll see that in your email. Next slide, please. I am very happy to report that planning for the 38th Annual Scholarship Open is off to a very strong start. In fact, I understand we have almost 100 golfers, and I think our max is like 132. So it's filling up nicely. It's once again going to be at the Country Club of Rochester, and you have details in your packets. Finally, this is all about events. I will share that the 31st Annual Salute to Excellence is being planned for this fall. I believe the date is November 10th. We look forward to making some inductions into the MCC Alumni Hall of Fame. So I hope you'll save that on your calendars. Again, we'll get that information out to you. So thank you all very much. It's an honor to share some of the good work of the foundation board with all of you. And I will say on their behalf that they very much appreciate your good work. So thank you.
Okay.
Any questions? All right.
Thank you, Gretchen. At this time, we will begin the shared governance portion of the meeting.
And I'll just mention that the student trustee update part, there is no update for this meeting. Shared governance updates. Each of the shared governance leaders will have an opportunity to provide an update of no more than 5 minutes to the Board of Trustees. Speakers will not be able to share their allotted time with others. Student Government Association, Isabella Rubis.
Hello, everyone. I have a pretty short report this month. The SGA has started our elections process. We have promoted running for a position in the Student Government Association throughout Blackboard and with flyers throughout the school. We have received quite a few applications for both student government and the student trustee position. We have held various elections workshops for candidates, which are required for all participants to attend at least once. Our last workshop was held today at 2 p.m. And we now look forward to our Meet the Candidates event and campaigning. And I ask you all to look out for flyers around the campus in the upcoming weeks, as they will feature MCC's future student government leaders. The majority of our current SGA members will be graduating this spring and are looking forward to transferring to their next institution. We look forward to passing the torch and officially welcoming the new team soon. The SGA continues to plan events for the upcoming months. We will be hosting a burrito event on National Burrito Day, an Easter brunch in collaboration with Campus 180, and our big Spring Fest event. Also, we have been receiving student feedback by collecting responses from students throughout College Hour, and we look forward to presenting that information to President Bert Nana and her cabinet tomorrow at our meeting. And that is all I have. So thank you so much.
Faculty Senate, Nada Perez-Kane.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome our new board members. My name is Nada Perez-Kane, and I am the Faculty Senate President, as well as Chair of Anthropology, History, Political Science, and Sociology. And if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to reach out to me outside of the board meetings if you have any questions about shared governance in general. So here's my update. I've been attending interview and meet and greet sessions for the CFO and VP of Administrative Services and the Chief of Staff candidates last week and this week, with more to come next week when we'll meet candidates for the Vice President of Economic and Workforce Development. Both the VPs, Jeremy Case and Natasha Chen Christensen, held caucuses to gather comments, concerns, and thoughts about any topic they chose to discuss, and those concerns were shared with the cabinet. And we do so in the spirit of sharing information and keeping lines of communication open. Becky Babcock and SCA have worked tirelessly to collect feedback by the April 1 deadline regarding the reorganization proposal, and they are now working on compiling hundreds of comments and questions and recommendations to be delivered to the administration. Tracy Graney, the chair of Curriculum Committee and co-chair of the General Education Implementation Committee, continues not just the work of regular curriculum business, but is also very much engaged with the recommendations on how to implement the new SUNY Gen Ed guidelines. Rollo Fisher and the Academic Policies Committee presented 3 policies that Senate approved at our last meeting: the General Education Policy and Procedure, the Transfer Policy and Procedure, and the Copyright Policy. And after checking for compliance, the policies will be placed in the policy portal for 30 days to gather additional feedback. Yasna Bogdanovska and the Planning Committee continue their work on the development of the new strategic plan and strategic planning initiatives. Mary Timmons and the NEG Committee are working on Senator, MCC Association, and FCCC elections. And we also have elections for the 2 VP positions and the secretary position, which has not been filled in 2 years. Judy Salzberg Taylor and the PD Committee are working on Professional Development Week proposals, collaborating with the MCC Wellness Committee and the TCC and other partners, and trying to embed some fun, rest, and multiple forms of nourishment into their presentations. And they continue to work on award nominations and reviewing professional leave and legacy lecture proposals. Are there any questions for me or comments? All right, well, thank you very much.
So the Support Staff Planning Council does not have a report for this meeting. Administration?
Thank you so very much. At the top of my shared governance update is a request for Isabella to make sure we know the time and location for the burrito event, because I intend to be there. So please add that to your agenda items for our meeting. Please don't forget.
I will not forget.
Thank you so much. Our students are amazing, and all of our shared governance groups are so dedicated to our institution's success, and I'm grateful for each and every one of them. You heard Dr. Nada Paris-Kane make reference to a proposal that was sent to the Faculty Senate, and it's for the consideration of a restructuring of academic services and student services to align existing human resources and elevate the college's focus on student success. The proposal retains all existing services, which are of great benefit to MCC students, and does not involve the elimination of any FA or CSEA positions. Special thanks to our Faculty Senate President, Nada Paris-Kane, as well as to our SCA chairperson, Becky Babcock, for helping to facilitate a very robust college-wide feedback process on the proposal, which we anticipate to be finalized after we have the benefit of considering the recommendations that come forward from the Faculty Senate this month. We've also invited our students to solicit feedback through our Student Government Association. That concludes my updates, unless there are comments or questions.
At this time, we will begin the union update portion of the meeting.
Each of the union leaders will have an opportunity to provide an update of no more than 5 minutes to the Board of Trustees. Speakers will not be able to share their allotted time with others. There are no reports from Faculty Association or CSEA for this board meeting.
I would now like to call your attention to the biographies of our newest employees that can be found in attachment 8 and the staff recognition notes found in attachment 9. Both document the impressive credentials and accomplishments of MCC's employees. I know you will join me in recognizing them for their contributions to the college. Before I call for a motion to adjourn the meeting, I'd just like to call to the attention of the trustees a few announcements. The first of which is on April 9th, the Saturday, will be the annual Board of Directors meeting for NYCCT, which is the New York Community College Trustees Association. And sort of the highlights of that meeting will be presentations by Johanna Duncan Poirier and Deborah Stanley, who is the interim chancellor for SUNY. Also, put on your calendar on April 21st at 4 o'clock, as part of the NYCCT's educational module, we will have a talk by the Deputy Comptroller, Elliot Arbach, and he's in charge of this, basically of the reviews of the community colleges around New York State, and his topic will be OCS review of community college financial operations, and it's what trustees need to know. And it's open to both trustees as well as staff, especially the finance staff, which you may find of interest. Also, on September 23rd and 24th, there'll be the 68th annual conference of NYCCT held in Saratoga. Would be the business meeting and awards banquet. Then the last is in October, from the 26th to the 29th, ACCT will be having its leadership congress, the big congress in New York City. And any trustee is interested in attending, would you please see Linda? I mean, she sent the initial announcement around to everyone. Then, yes. And the last I'd like to talk about is earlier a couple of months ago, both Deanna Burt-Nana, President Burt-Nana, Trustee Lowenheim, and I had the opportunity to attend virtually the Aspen Institute's program on student success, and it was very good, and it really, I think, set the stage for both our strategic plan, which we will receive from the administration in June, as well as it sets the stage too in terms of how we will, going forward, really form our budget. Because one of the things that I've learned, and Barbara, you can chime in, is that what we really need to do is focus in on student success. And we're looking at various metrics. And then once we have, this vision of student success, from there, everything that we do in terms of the budget and staffing and everything else should be aimed at supporting that goal. In terms of what do we do in terms of enrollment, retention, graduation, as well as what happens to students as they leave MCC, either go on to further their academic studies or go directly into the workforce. And I'd like to thank Dr. Burt-Nana for including us in the workshop. And hopefully at some point in time, all of the trustees will have the opportunity to go through it. It was, like I said, it was very informative, and it really at least opened my eyes in terms of what we really need to do, which is to focus in on student success, which is our primary goal here at MCC.
Yeah, just a footnote, and that is that this was a combined program with the Aspen Institute and SUNY, which made it very interesting to have those two entities come together. And there were 3 sessions, each about 3 hours. And there were speakers, but I think the very best part of it was when we met in small groups, and we met with Finger Lakes and other groups, and we discussed what was going on at the college as far as pathways, as far as how the board was constructed, different ideas that people had about using metrics. And so it was a time where we could really be open and honest about what was great about our own situations, but where could we learn? Where could we fill in the gaps? And so we felt very lucky to be there. And we also felt good because, of course, we were great.
And MCC is in the forefront of a lot of these initiatives. So I mean, it's really good.
But we did learn things too. So yes. it was great. So thank you, Dr. Bertnana, for letting us be part of that.
Yes. Anything else, trustees or? All right, this concludes the Board of Trustees meeting. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Thank you all again.